Hello guys, this is Sunblade and we are live with a new JP Dokkan video. Nolar is back with me and we are going to continue our little mini-series about the skill orbs, and he brought someone with him, and for me it's a big honor to introduce him for the first time on this channel. Welcome back Nolar, and say hello to Goresh.
Hey guys, glad to be here, thanks for having me on, and ready to talk about some skill orb stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. So, alright, what's on the agenda here, Sunblade?
Yeah, before we go into this, there's one important thing I want to say. Both of them inspired me to create Dokkan Battle content the way I do today, and if you guys did not subscribe to them, please do it right now. You will find their channels in the description, so yeah, this is very important. Alright, so in this episode we are focusing on things not to do with the skill orbs, but if you haven't watched the first episode yet, make sure to do that before you continue. So, as Nolar laid out last week, it's tough to get the skill orbs you want for your cards, so you want to choose wisely which character gets one. Since we have a new guest today, Goresh, you are a global main. Have you made use of your skill orbs, and if yes, I think so, how?
I've been very cautious with how I've been using them because I know, we only have the Whis event available to us right now on Global, and we don't really have access to those really powerful gold and silver skill orbs yet. So what I've been doing is I've been prioritizing only really using the bronze skill orbs. Like if I get a level 5 attack, I'll use that. Level 5 defense, I'll slap on a unit that's more of like a tanky unit, like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta or something like that. But in terms of like the silver or golds, I've gotten a few decent ones, but I'm just so hesitant to use them that I haven't really went into those yet, just because I know for Chain Battle, when we get that soon, I think, that's when, we'll start to get those really powerful skill orbs, because it feels bad to put like a level 3 additional on like LR STR Vegeta. It's eventually going to get replaced and you're just wasting it at that point. So I think maybe I'll sort of dip into more of like the mid-tier units and maybe equip them like more of like those mid-tier units with those level 3 additionals, level 3. But in terms of like the top tier units, I haven't really done too much with them yet.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. I agree with that. Anything you want to add, Nolar, or is that it?
I mean, Goresh is following the outline. So basically, right now for both versions, the most reliable way to get skill orbs is the Whis event, but on JP and eventually on Global, it'll be once a week, which is not a lot, right? So you want to be very judicious in how you use your skill orbs. Again, Chain Battle gives you like some really powerful ones, but it's all RNG, right? So like one session of Chain Battle could get you a bunch of dodges. Say hello to like the last 2 Chain Battles for me. Yeah, so I agree. I think you can be a little more liberal with your bronze equipments because there's going to be so many of those, it shouldn't be a big deal. So yeah, I mean, of course, the level 5 attacks you give to your attackers. If you've got some defenders, I like to give my supports, the floaters, the bronze, like health or defense, just to make sure they're tanky, a little bit more tanky. But yeah, the silver and especially the gold ones are really hard to find, so when I get a new unit or if I get a bunch of orbs, it's always using the bronze first, and then maybe I'll use a silver, maybe I'll use a gold if I have the appropriate one for the appropriate character. So
yeah, I totally agree here. So let's start with our first bullet point. I kinda joked about it last time, but of course there's some truth in it. Now the 120% leads get their Easy A's, and some kits seem to change drastically. Super 17's Easy A was released last week, and he supports target Goku allies with an additional crit chance, 70% it was, I believe. And how do you, Nolar, how did you skill him in the potential system?
All right, so
right now?
Well, of course, Super 17 came out, 3 years ago at this point. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
More than 2 years ago, but close enough.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah, so at the time I rainbowed him straight out, and the meta at the time was just purely attack. So I gave him a bunch of crits, as much you can as an AGL unit. So I think it's 11 additional, 15 crits, something along those lines. Now, because they're getting Easy A, I probably would have given him more additional over crit, just because in his kit he gives 17% crit, and even though it's a separate instance of calculations on crit, it's still good enough. 17 is quite a bit enough to me to go, okay, I'll move some of my crit in the potential system towards additional, because I wish they would, this is a whole topic we can talk about later, where if they make an easy A, they should give you a free opportunity to change the potential system, because the kit may have completely changed from a support to a hard hitter or vice versa. So right now with Super 17, I would lean more towards additional than I would say crit. But that's something I have to rectify later on when I pull more dupes of him inevitably.
It's actually reminiscent of like the type.
Yeah,
I was gonna say the type support units.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, like I had the int ones rainbowed like since forever ago, and they were like, other than just doing support, like they were just not usable. Like they didn't hit hard, they didn't tank at all. So I just gave them full dodge in the potential system. And now, with, for example, the int Kid Gohan, who's the super int support unit, like he's hitting like close to 2 million attack stats. He has like this absurd super attack effect. So I had to go back and like spend like like 50 stones to like redo his whole potential system. So that's sort of similar to what we're seeing with this skill orb system now, because every single unit is getting access to the skill orbs, and if they're getting easy A's, you're not going to really know which skill orbs are optimal for them before they get their easy A's. So
right, so
kind of the same situation.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you on that. So I think to wrap it up real quick, it's basically I wouldn't give skill orbs in this particular situation to the 120 leaders until they've gotten their easy A, so you know what direction they're putting them in, right? So obviously the bronze ones, like we said before, fairly easy to get, so that's not too difficult. But silver, like level 3 additionals or 3 crit, those are hard, and gold ones, those are harder to come by. So I would actually just wait until a unit does get his easy A or her easy A, and then decide, okay, they need more of this over that. And that's kind of I think what Sunblade was trying to point us towards.
Yeah, exactly. So to sum it up, hypothetically, you assume that one character is going to change a certain way, and you give the card a skill orb according to it, what you have in your mind. But when Akatsuki announces the EZA on Twitter, your plan might be thrown out of the window. So keep that in mind when you give a skill orb to 120% lead yet. And yeah, I have something to confess here. Let's switch to Int Gogeta on the screen. 1 second. This will be done quickly. So yeah, as you can see, he has 20 additional right now. And yeah, I gave him some additional skill orbs, but the reason I did that was he holds a special place in my heart, and I think he will always keep the super effective against all types thing in the passive, so I kinda like reserved those skill orbs for him.
Yep. Yeah, I mean that's pretty safe to assume that. Yeah.
So yeah, just to get this out of the way here. Yeah. Alright, so next up are the skill orbs for the Universe 6 characters. The Kefla celebration is dropping in a few hours from now on Global with a new stage on the Universe 6 story event. When you encounter Vardos or Champa, you will get skill orbs which you can use on Universe 6 characters exclusively. So if you pull Kefla, don't give her a skill orb you got from another event like Whis or the Chain Battle later on. Any additional thoughts here?
The only thing I would say is, if you get like a level 5 crit or a level 5 additional that you want to slap on Kefla, that's going to be fine, because it's going to be better than any skill orb you get in that event. But that's only if you really like Kefla like a lot.
Yeah, well, you're right.
Assuming when you pull her and you actually go in on the banner, which as of this recording, we have no idea if it's the same as JP or they're going to change it. But yeah, if you manage to pull her and you get a level 5 crit or 5 additional from this specific stage, then by all means slap it on whatever Universe 6 unit you want. I find it interesting that, this is maybe a little bit of a tangent, but they're going specific for equipments for categories. Kind of interesting, because, if you get a level 5 crit and everyone that could hit hard already has a level 5 crit, you just feel real pain inside to know that it could have been gone to somebody else.
In the last episode we talked about Elatec Jiren, and luckily I pulled 3 copies of him, and I gave him level 5 additional, and I fear that Akatsuki is deciding to release a Universe 11 event,
Yeah.
special event, but I think they won't release a level 5 additional skill orb. So, well, at least I hope that as of right now.
At that point, it's like you can't be faulted for giving Jiren a level 5 additional.
Yeah. No one would blame you.
Get it.
It just
yeah.
You just feel a little pain in your soul when that happens, but it's okay. Like the effect, like your reasoning is sound and solid. It's just a little bit of pain. That's all.
Okay, so bullet point number 3, it's something that Nolar said in episode 1 already, and I want to repeat that. And he said it already during this episode, don't use the orbs as soon as you get them. Think about it first. How often do you use that character? Does he or her really benefit from that skill orb? And that pretty much correlates with the final topic for the day. Skill orbs for regular floaters. If characters float regularly, I'm kind of reluctant in giving them a skill orb, but you might argue that you could give them an HP or defense orb. Yeah,
or
you
dodge,
already
yeah.
said what you think. Yeah, or dodge. In my instance, I gave Turles some dodge and defensive orbs because, well, he won't transform very often, and in his transform state, he's not as good as in his non-transform state. So yeah.
Yeah, so 2 things real quick. The first thing, covering the first point you made about using the orbs as soon as you get them. So for global players, we actually have an advanced knowledge of what's coming. So if we know that the Blue Goku and Vegeta are coming soon, well, not soon, but in the near future, like okay, I want to save my crit skill orbs for them. So maybe you get a level 5 gold, and you're like, okay, I really like this unit, so when they come out, I'm going to save this skill orb specifically for them. That's something that we have over the JP community because they don't obviously know who's coming up next. And then even for me, like, so we have the Down celebration coming up in 2-3 weeks from now.
3 weeks, yeah.
So I'm specifically not using a lot of the level 5 attack bronze skill orbs that I've accumulated over the anniversary because I'm probably going to want to make use of them on these new units coming out. So that's what I'm planning on doing. So, I mean, there might be new units down the road that we don't even have knowledge of in advance that you might end up being like, oh, damn, I wish I had like this skill orb for this unit or this skill orb for that unit. So, always good to have at least a little bit of a reserve there. And then for the last point you made about, the floaters, I see a lot of people saying like, oh, I only get dodge skill orbs, or like I'm only getting like HP or whatever. But like, if you're talking about like, I don't know, like we just thought, like West Kai, right? West Kai's now with her Dokkan Awakening, she's pretty defensive. Wouldn't be the worst thing ever to give her attack, but like she's one that could really benefit a lot from dodge, just because most of the time those support units that are floaters that are just relegated to being in the 3rd slot every single time, they're actually going to make use of that dodge, extra dodge a lot more than any other unit probably. So would not be a complete waste just to throw them those dodge skill orbs on those units.
That's a very interesting point. I have a counter argument for that because I already showcased Agl West Kai, and I gave her a lot of dodge. I think she has 15 dodge because I gave her that before she Dokkan Awakened, and she has the mechanic where she has to get hit first before her guard gets activated, and I had some instances where she dodged the first attack and then I got supered.
Yeah, that's very rare though. Like, how often does that happen?
Yeah, that happened a couple of times, and that's when I decided to like take that dodge away from her and give her like full additional because it annoyed me so much.
My thought process is I'd rather dodge that first attack than get hit at all.
Yeah.
I mean, the best defense is to take no damage at all, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I don't fault either. Like, you both have solid arguments where you can give her dodge, or your support units dodge, or you can give them more HP or more defense or healing. Especially those like stacky, like the 50% supports, right? Where they probably will take the same colored orbs. So as they take more orbs, they'll heal a little bit better. I mean, it's all completely dependent on your playstyle, right? So Gresh, like, you don't want to take damage, you put dodge. Sunblade, you want to activate some passive, then you want to give them a little more defense or HP. So again, we're giving recommendations on how we want to play. You should factor in your own particular play style in determining how you want to give them the orbs. So But yeah, to backtrack a little bit, using this orbs as soon as you get them, this is the similar concept of gacha coins. Just because you have 500 gacha coins, like the red coins, you're not going to blow it right away on like the next unit that comes out. So you want to always wait till after you summon on a banner, maybe you get shafted, which happens, and then you want to say, okay, you know what, I want to get that unit next time they come back. Or you're like, you get the unit you want to pull then you wait for like the LR Blue Boys when they eventually show up or come back and then buy them then. So you always want to have some reserve of skill orbs because, like Goresh says, you just don't you may know what's coming up and you want to save those. Or if you're on the JP side, like Sunblade and IRR, we just don't know. So we just want to at least have something to give someone when we're ready if we manage to pull them.
Yeah. So and also it's just being mindful of the rarity of skill orbs themselves, because you can get if you get a level 5 crit like gold from the chain battle, it could be another 4 months before you get another one. So, like, just keep that in mind.
Yeah. You're pulling gold crit? Jesus.
you guys are getting gold skill orbs?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. So, yeah.
So yeah, I will go a little bit off topic here, but this is very fast. We talked about the gacha coins, and if Cooler is featured and you don't want to go into the banner, you should or could buy him with coins if you don't have them. So, and don't buy hit with coins. I have some people in, some people I know, and they were like, "Yeah, Tech Hit is coming back. I will buy him with coins." And I was close and like blocking them on Twitter and WhatsApp. So, don't buy hit with coins and buy Cooler instead.
Hey, imagining buying hit with red coins. Can't be me.
Yeah, it's that topic comes up here and there. For me personally, so I'll say that right now. Okay, to finish things off in this video, we are again picking 5 characters and recommend what to do with these orbs. First up is of course Scr Kefla, soon to be released on global. I do not have the card personally, but yeah, of course Nolar does. Since you can give her those exclusive Universe 6 orbs, what have you done? Or what do you recommend?
So I used to go in the potential. I'm going to talk about the potential system real quick. I used to do straight full crit on my strength and tech units, but now I've done like 12-15 splits. And based on how she is, like once you get her to Super Saiyan 2, like her final form, she's going to pretty much get another additional attack if you get 6 key spheres, which for the most part you'll get, like let's say 80% of the time. So I just managed, because I give them 12-15 or like the 11-15, however the split is, I keep forgetting what it is. I personally would give them a little more. Oh, she also stacks too, so it's like I want to keep it somewhat even, where there's enough attack or enough additionals to potentially get a third additional super, but you also want to see if you can get if you manage to get all 3 supers, you want to get all attack. So potential system, a little bit more on crit just because she's a strength unit, but then I compensated with a little more additionals where I could find it, to just make sure that, hey, I'll maybe get a third additional off, and there's a 30% chance to crit on those. So good stuff. So
yeah, Kefla's tricky because she also has that active skill that gives her super effective against all types as well. So
yeah,
in that turn when she's using that, crit isn't going to be super impactful. You also have to keep in mind that the fact that she gets basically 2 guaranteed super attacks when you get 6 or more orbs in her final form, there being 2 attacks is going to give you that extra chance to proc the 3rd attack from the potential system. So having more in additional, just for that alone, I think is going to help a lot. But I do think crit overall is just going to be more impactful because, again, that active skill is only 1 turn. And I think if you're able to get 2 crits as opposed to 3 non-crits, I think that's better overall. So I would recommend crit. What I've been doing with like units that I'm kind of like not super sure about is I've usually done 17 crit, 9 additional. So it's probably that's probably what I'm going to be doing for Kefla. But we'll see how lucky I get with skill orbs. It's honestly probably all going to come down to what I have available to me, honestly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, that covers Kefla. Yeah, the next card, we already talked about him. I will leave this card to Goresh, but I think it's pretty obvious already. We are talking about Scr Kefla since he might replace Android 13 on global. Goresh, your thoughts?
Full additional, pretty much. Because basically he can transform against any event, but turn 3 he gets to transform against pure and hybrid Saiyans, right? So I think his guaranteed crit's there. I mean, if you give him crit, it's literally going to be like you gave him nothing, because at that point it's going to be doing nothing for you. So yeah, crit's going to help him in base form, but like realistically, how often are you going to leave him in base form? Unless you're just specifically relegating him to be a support unit, in which case honestly it would probably be better just to go dodge.
Yeah.
Well, it's debatable, but yeah, I think if you're using him actively as a main rotation unit, obviously additional is the best. I've actually seen some people I've seen some Japanese YouTubers actually do max additional, and then instead of giving him crit, they gave him dodge. Just because they found that to be more, I guess, useful when he's transformed, because again, crit's doing literally nothing for him.
Yeah.
So that's definitely an option, but I don't know. I think just full dodge is obviously the most common answer for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
To put in my 2 cents, full additional just makes sense both pre-transformed and transformed. Because obviously you explained the whole transformation state, but pre-transformed he lowers attack and defense. Yep. So if you're looking to use him more on Super Battle Road or some of the shorter events that can be affected by the debuffs, then double lowering attack is very good on Super Battle Road. So either way, I think you go full additional. Yeah, there's arguments to give him some dodge. That makes some sense to me if you're going to keep him primarily as a support unit. But giving him crit outside of what he already has in his kit, being a strength unit, just like you said, really does nothing. Unless you plan to use him all the time, everywhere, in every stage, where, yeah, 60 to 70% of the game is hybrid Saiyans and pure Saiyans. But of course, like Universe 6, there's only half of those guys are pure and hybrid. The other half aren't. So if you want to finish stages faster or be impactful, maybe give them crit, but if you're looking for the most bang for your buck, it's just pure additionals.
Yeah, and ESBR is coming soon to global, so
yes, yeah.
Your point is valid. I totally agree. Okay, that covers Cooler, and now I will go back here to Agl Cauliflower. Her kit changed, well, kind of drastically, in my opinion, and I gave her full additional here, because if I play her, I'll play her with Scr Kefla, for example. So I will be super effective against all types all the time. So I decided to give her that level 3 additional here.
Yep.
I agree.
Yeah, especially the Agl Cauliflower, I mean, she's already got a lot to her kit, right? She has a chance to dodge, and then high chance to dodge, as well as a medium chance for supers, to dodge supers. Yeah. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, counter. She counters that.
Oh, counter. That's right. Okay. So, yeah, I don't think she really needs crits, especially since she is effective against all types with a Kale. That's just any Kale, right? And for the most part, you're going to run her with a Kale, whether that's Berserk Kale or the Scr Kale or whatever else. There's a huge variance of them. So
yeah, the Nolar, for example. Yep.
Yep. So I don't see a reason why you would give her anything but additionals.
He also does 3-turn 60% defense raise.
Right. So
deck. So
if you manage to double super in those first 3 turns, I should say, that's a lot of defense. So
it's a weird. 60% is even higher than greatly raising, because that's 50%. So that's a weird one, but that's what it does.
Yep. Yeah, since she's releasing soon to global, I thought putting her on the list. And yeah, the next one will be pretty obvious. Physical Kale, of course. I gave her like crit.
Yeah.
I think this is the way to go.
Yeah, because she gets how many additionals?
She has a 70% chance to do an additional super attack.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you get someone who already has additionals kind of built into their kit, it would be smart to give them crits, because if you get 2 super attacks, get crits on them, which is pretty good. So, yeah, I especially since she's physical, so physical gets more additional in their potential system, I would side more with crit.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have a pretty high chance to get a 3rd super attack, because the re-rolling thing. She's the beast in Extreme Super Battle Run. I tested it out today. Go with full crit here.
Full crit.
And yeah, the last card on my list, we talked about him, Super 17, we were pretty short here. I decided to give him full additional, but I didn't give him any skill off because in my opinion, he doesn't benefit as much from the skill op system. I think it is sufficient to leave him at 20 additional and maybe give him like a level 5 attack orb, but I won't give him an additional orb like level 5 gold one. I will save that.
Yeah, additional seem to be the way to go, right? Because the super attack, if you get double supers, every super he greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn. So, big deal. So, yeah, and plus he target Goku. He's obviously in target Goku. He gives 17% crit just by being on the field. So, I'm gonna have to change my potential system because again, they changed the way he works post EZA. So when I pull dupes, I'll fix it. But yeah, I would lean more towards additional than I would crit.
This is a guy where I probably would sort of go down the middle. You definitely want additional for him because he is greatly raising his defense on super attack, which is going to work super well with his damage reduction because those two pair together really well. But I think crit is still really important for him, even though he does give himself 17% from his passive. I think just giving him maybe like 10 crit or something like that is still going to be really helpful, just to do that extra damage. And specifically in Extreme Super Battle Road, it's not really going to be that impactful just because he's already super effective, but like every other mode in the game, like he's pushing like 5 million attack stat. So you really want to make sure you get the crits with that. But additionals are really important as well. So I think with this guy specifically, I would maybe do
Even
like...
split?
Not an even split. I'd probably go a little bit more heavy on the additionals, but like I don't want to completely not give him any crit at all.
Okay.
Yeah, as Goresh said it on the podcast a few days ago. He's on many categories, so I would wait. If you're not Masked Ningen, who loves this card, I would wait on skill orbs for him, I think. Save those gold level 5 additionals for Gogeta units, for example, and yeah, don't throw one on him right away.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we kind of danced around, but never really addressed. Is like, you want to give skill orbs to units that have a lot of not necessarily utility, but a lot of playing time. So like cards you actually use a lot because they're on a lot of categories or they're versatile in different game modes. I mean, this guy's great, but outside of like, he's on 4 categories: androids, artificial life forms, target Goku, and human deeds. You're not going to really run him too often, so he wouldn't be high on my priority list to give orbs. And the fact that, you know, orbs are scarce amongst themselves, you know, I might give him like a level 2 additional just because I need to clean out my box or something. You know what I mean? Just that's what I would give him instead of a level 5. Level 5 would be on someone like Gogeta's, or someone who's super effective, or who auto crits, or something like that, you know? So, yeah, we just wanted to throw it out there. Like, you gotta look at the value of the unit in terms of how often you play them and how useful they are in various game modes before you decide to give them the super rare level 5 crits or additionals.
Yeah, and one more thing you just said in Human Deeds. Are you accepting the category name now?
Yeah.
You didn't say diabolical villains.
I know. I'm looking at the wiki and I'm like, once I said it, I realized it. I was like, oh my god, why can't they just take Goresh's or Talon's like translations and just leave it at that instead of making some screwed up name? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah. They should just hire Goresh.
I mean, I don't think he'll say no to that, right?
I mean, they can literally just copy and paste. Sometimes they do copy and paste it, but not all the time.
I've noticed that. That's why I'm like, just do what you guys normally do. Just copy and paste it and then run with it.
I'm wondering what they will do with the Blue Boys leader skill, like if they go with All Out or Desperate Struggle or something else.
Desperate Struggle is a good one.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Desperate Struggle is a good translation. I'm hoping to keep that, but I'm not holding my breath. It might be Team A that does the translations.
It's gonna be something wonky. I don't know.
Alrighty.
So yeah, this is the end of episode 2. Anything you want to say?
No, I'm glad to be back here, and be on the lookout for the next episode. I don't know when that'll be, but it'll be an ongoing thing, and I think this is a pretty cool idea.
Yep, same with me.
Yeah, great. Thank you guys for being here, and I hope you guys had a fun time. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like, consider subscribing. Of course, more is coming in the future, and the 350 million download celebration is coming up, so this will be pretty hype. I will be pretty busy with the game then, and I hope you guys will be back soon. So, I wish you guys a good day. Have a good time, stay safe, and see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
See ya.